We are good to go.
Okay, the first question is, why did you choose this book?
Uh, I'll go first. I chose this book because I like a bunch of stuff that has to do with World War II and the Holocaust and whatnot. So just reading like the little snippet of what we were given, and then researching it, it interested me. And also one of my kids, my own child, said that he read this, I believe in eighth grade, and that he liked it. So that's one of the reasons why I chose it.
Yeah, I chose it because I've always like been interested in like World War II and the Holocaust without sounding weird. But that was just like always my favorite topic. And currently I'm on like a World War II kick. They just put out some new shows on Netflix about it, and they're really interesting.
I was kind of the same way, and I also like stories about like people that were in it, like more like personal stories versus the more like war stories. I like the more like personal, like how it affected a day-to-day person. So that's kind of like when I saw it was about like a girl and a family and her friends and stuff, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
I chose the book for the same reasons. I've always been in love with like World War II, not the reasons why it happened, obviously. Just I guess the history behind it and what happened, and I read that's in the description of the book that's what it was, and so I was like, let's try it out.
Okay, the second question is, what was your favorite part of the book and why? My
Uh,
favorite part was when she found the kitten. 'Cause I was like, it's kind of like a little light in a dark time. So it was like my favorite part and her like taking care of it and everything. I just thought it was like a cute little story in it.
my favorite part was when you find out that I think his name is Peter, I believe. At least that's what I called him. When he was part of the resistance and it kind of like rebuild everything. And I was like, whoa.
I think I had a bunch of favorite parts, but one that stood out to me was and one that kept me like on edge was when her friend was in their apartment because her parents had left, and then the soldiers came into the house, and her dad had to really react quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was like I was I remember I was like reading through the lines and I couldn't stop. I was like, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen? What are they gonna say? Like, are they gonna take her? Are they gonna what's gonna happen?" So yeah, that was one of my favorite parts.
I liked the part um when she was taking the picnic basket to her uncle and was stopped by the soldiers and they were like, "My dog smells meat." And she was like, "I'm terrified, but I'm not gonna show it and I'm gonna act like
Right.
my younger sister and be all sassy and whatnot." And I was like, that's literally my sister and me. So
That's cute. The second part was, what's your least favorite part and how do you feel? Like, how did it make you feel?
um the at the very beginning when they were running home from school and they ran into the soldiers and like that just like gave me a ton of anxiety because I know that like if I were in their shoes and that were to happen to me, like I don't know if I would have made it out like the way that they did because they were like so confident like when they were walking away and I don't that just like really put me on edge and I was like this how the whole book is gonna be.
I
Yeah,
was
that
the
was like,
same way.
oh,
I thought
sorry,
the same
sorry.
thing. No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
I was kind of the same way. Like in the beginning, I was like, this is really how we're starting it. I was like, okay, this whole book is just going to be like a series of events that are going to be so sad.
Yeah, that's how I was. I was thinking about it and I was trying to think like, well, what was like a part of the story that I really didn't like? And there wasn't really a part of the story that I
Yeah.
didn't like. Because all of it was very interesting and it kept me interested in the book and keep, wanting to keep reading and stuff. But yeah, I'd have to say that I'd have to agree with Linda because
Mm-hmm.
the two sisters reminded me of my daughters. So putting, I don't know, it was kind of weird. I like related them to my daughters. I have a 3-year-old and a 9, she just turned 9. So I kind of like related them and what they would do in that situation. And the younger one is a lot like her younger sister. She was, she's the more defiant one and stuff like that. So yeah, that part of the book, like really like I was like, what's gonna happen? Like I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't really have like a favorite or sorry, least favorite part. I liked it all, like everybody has said. Um, so yeah, I've literally been trying to think of something I didn't like and I cannot think of anything. So
I was the same way. That's why I was like the beginning just kind of set the tone for it, and I didn't like the tone. I was
Yeah.
like, this is
yeah.
gonna be sad and scary. The second part is the evaluation of the book. So I guess like your thoughts on it as a whole. That's how I took it
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I really liked it. I liked the book overall. Like when I finished it, I was like really, that's it. I want to know more about like
Mhm.
their lives and what happened after, and if Ellen came back, and I just didn't get that. But overall, I think it was really good.
Yeah, that's how I was. Like I said, I was glued to the whole book and kind of wanted more at the end. Um, I've also been like recommending this book to like everybody I know. I'm like, have you ever read, Number of the Stars? And they're like, oh yeah, I have, or no, I haven't. And it was really like interesting to me because like we said at the beginning of this recording, um, as dark and terrible that time was for people, it's a part of history and it's very interesting at the same time because, there's still people that have family members that live that. And it's just intriguing to me to listen to these stories, whether they're fake or they're not. So I love the book.
I really loved the book as well. Thought it was like a really good book for teaching multiple like subjects in school and stuff. And so it was like one of the best ones I read in a while.
Yeah. As far as school books go, I really liked it. Like, because most books that your schools require are kind of boring.
Yeah.
But I thought like the book is a heavier book, so I feel like it would be more for upper elementary. Because I'm like, it's kind of a dark, heavy topic.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like, it was interesting. But I was just like thinking about it from like a teacher. I was like, you couldn't teach this to like third graders. Like, it would have to be the upper elementary.
For
So,
sure.
Yeah, like my son, he said he read it in 8th grade and
mhm.
um I have yet to ask him like, well, what did y'all discuss or what kind of reflections or papers did y'all have to write over it? But he did mention that he read it in 8th grade, which he's now a sophomore. So
I asked my friend about it, and she said she read hers in I think 6th or 7th grade. And I was like, we never read it in school. Like my school it wasn't a thing, but her school it was. So the last thing is like 2 to 3 ideas for teaching the book.
So one idea I had for like teaching the book is like since this would be like a book for more mature grades, is like you can teach on like discrimination and different social study topics. One I thought about was like more for like geography and having the like students map out the different areas of like where the events took place and following around, and then like obviously like ELAR vocabulary, you can do anything with that because it's a book.
I like the mapping out. That was a good idea.
Yeah, I
For
didn't think about geography at all.
me either. That was a really good idea. I did one of my things I wrote down was a timeline because like a lot of events happen and like keeping like you could do it by chapter or like actually by however, but a timeline of like this happened in the book on each chapter or page, however you wanted to do it. Because there's a lot of events that happen in this small book.
Yeah.
Kind of keep track.
Yeah, or like a reflection paper, like of like what would you do, or if you were in that situation, or like how do you think it was back in that time, or for
Like a
ELA.
journal kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the ones that I wrote down was like a writing prompt of like what risk did the Johansons take by letting Ellen stay with them? Like writing about how if they had been found out, like what they think would have happened to them after that.
I also think doing like a map of how everyone's connected would be a fun idea. Because like new characters get introduced pretty often. So like knowing like how each of them is connected would be like a good class activity to kind of do together. And then like the journal is more like an individual thing.
Yeah.
I like
The other
that
one
idea.
that, oh, sorry, you go.
No, that was it. I like the idea.
Oh, I was gonna say my other one was like having students pretend that they're the author and coming up with alternate endings.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
Would y'all teach this book
And
to
like
your
a
class?
even like a going over like plot diagram and whatnot.